All right, y'all. Like, what up, out? What up, out? Where are the highlights at? Where are the highlights at? I don't give a fuck about no goddamn highlights. All right, y'all. So here's what it is. Let me ask you this. Let me propose this question to you because, and if you look at it, Houston, I believe, lost tonight. Portland lost tonight, right? These top seeds that don't need to win tonight lost. The hungrier teams won, right? Well, let me ask you this. Let's fast forward a week from today, Saturday. It's round one, game one. Warriors, and who are their opponents? Let's say it's the New Orleans Pelicans, right? What changes from tonight? Right? It's the same roster, it's the same matchups, and it's the same circumstances, right? I guess you could say, oh, the Warriors, it means more because it is the playoffs. But, this was an effort. This was a game where the effort needed to be there. I thought this was an important game where the Warriors they didn't have to win the game, but they needed to show well. And the effort was there. They let 40 get hung on them in the first quarter, and some of that was just straight up hot shooting from New Orleans, right? I try to find a positive. Quinn Cook, he had like 4 or 5 threes, right? Quinn Cook was positive, and he probably should have been in the game late with the lack of ball handling. And the story of the game is the 8 turnovers in the fourth quarter. Draymond had 7 turnovers in the game, and Draymond was absolutely terrible, man. And here's the thing about it. Those turnovers it's about ego. I've brought this up before. Draymond Green, he doesn't shoot well, right? He doesn't really play above the rim, right? He doesn't have flashy handles. So, we know he's the reigning defensive player of the year, which he clearly hasn't been to that level this year. I will say that as well. But how can Draymond make an impact on a game or kind of make a highlight and put his fingerprint on the game on the offensive side of the ball? It's flashy passes, and he cannot help himself with some of these home run passes, half-court lobs, threading the needle through traffic type of stuff like that. He cannot help himself. 7 turnovers. It really cost us the game in the fourth quarter. It absolutely did. And, the thing I guess that really irritates me about the turnovers were at least 4 or 5 of them. So sometimes the window closes. A pass is there for a split second, and then the window closes and it becomes a turnover because you made the pass too late. 4 or 5 of those turnovers, the window was never there. The window was never there. Draymond was forcing it into something that there was never an opening. There was never an opportunity, but he wanted to make the highlight play, and he's trying to do too much. He's trying to have too much of an impact on the offensive side of the ball with Steph out and just make the basketball play. It's that simple. Just make the basketball play. It doesn't have to be the home run, lead to the basket. Just make the play, and those passes will come to you. What's good with the pick and roll defense? So Kevin Durant had a monster game offensively, right? But if you want to take a look and notice at where he's lacking and where you can tell there's not a full effort, it's on the defensive end, and it's on the defensive end protecting the rim. Now, is he saving himself for the playoffs? God, I can only hope so. We can only hope so. Because remember Kevin Durant was leading the league in shot blocking earlier in the season. I can't remember the last time I saw KD block a shot. And there were several times in this game where there was a chance to meet someone at the rim, and he kind of just shied away from it. So I'm just praying that he's waiting to flip that switch defensively because that hurt us. It's no secret who Alvin Gentry is and how familiar he is with our offense. And you saw him completely expose our switching system. Whenever we switch off a screen, their guy is diving to the rim, whether it's Anthony Davis or Drew Holiday as the guard, and they're getting easy layups, particularly with an undersized Quinn Cook on the switch, right? And so that switch all shit, it's not going to fly. You must be constantly adapting and evolving in this league. Everybody switches, and so there are counters to that. Teams are very comfortable with defenses that switch everything. It's no longer a special trait that's only held by the Warriors. Teams see it every night, and you saw New Orleans take advantage of it all night, right? So, that the sky is not falling. You can tell I'm a little amped up. I'm disappointed. I wanted this game, and I thought they played well enough to win it until down the stretch, KD and Draymond just kind of shat the ball away. 8 turnovers, and it got too ISO heavy. We relied on KD too much, and that's why I thought Quinn Cook probably should have been in the game. Clay, would he give us a quick 3-pointers in the fourth quarter? Got to find a way to get him more shots. Jordan Bell, and I will say this was a positive. That was a playoff-like atmosphere, and you saw Bell was nervous. He fumbled the ball. He had a couple bad turnovers, and so hopefully he's gotten that out of the way. Hopefully that you can treat that like that was his first playoff game. Get those nerves out of the way because we're going to need him. We're going to need him, man. Mirotic, I want to shout out Mirotic because you saw when he rolled that ankle over, his ankle bone touched the floor. I was like, a 7-footer like that? Forget about it, man. He's done. He taped up, came out, and helped him. And the way you defend, I'll break this down on the Patreon a little more in detail. But if you notice, the Warriors were completely selling out on the 3-ball with him. And he was just giving a little pump fake, and then he was wide open. He could take all the time he wanted. You have to close out and stay in his face. You can't just sell out and fly by him. He's too patient and too skilled. He lets you fly by. He checks the time, and takes a couple more chews of the gum and just lets it fly. And that's what was happening. But overall, man, yeah, I think this was an important game. And I think it says something. The Warriors, you could tell the effort was there, but the execution wasn't. And you can talk all about regular season and the sense of urgency from New Orleans. But the bottom line is we can fast forward, like I said, a week from today. What changes? The execution all of a sudden is just going to be there. So, yeah, I'm concerned. I'm irritated. Like I said, let's see KD flip the switch on the defensive end. They've got to find some sort of synchronicity and cohesion with these makeshift lineups. Kerr's played too much with the lineups, right? And I'm not a big plus-minus guy, but Nick Young was a minus 21, right? The lowest minus on either way, right? I don't think you can play Nick Young in the playoffs. I know McCall's out. We're limited with our guard play. Where was Sean Livingston? I don't know. Maybe someone can fill me into that. But as I see it right now, I don't think we can play Nick Young. He just gets fucking dusted. Minus 21. So we've got to find some sort of cohesion. I'm not saying it's all the sky is falling, but I think we're going to be pushed in this first round. I'm concerned. Hit that like, share, and subscribe. I'm out, y'all.